This is Heather Gill with Places to Go with Heather Gill. In this episode of People to Know, it is my extreme honor and pleasure to talk to Charles Reed. Charles Reed, he's the CEO of Get Payroll. Charles, thank you so much for hanging out with me today.
My pleasure, Heather.
I would love to hear kind of like the origin story about Get Payroll, how you were involved with that. Tell me a little bit more about Get Payroll.
Well, after the military and after college, I went to work at major corporations. My first job was TI.
Oh, wow.
And so I worked with a lot of major corporations over the next 15 years. And I realized I was never going to run a corporation. I didn't have the political skills. I didn't want to stab people in the back and throw them off the ladder. So if I was going to run a corporation, and I grew up in a family company, I was going to have to start my own.
Okay.
So I started with a franchise operation that was mobile accounting. It went belly up. Ruth, my wife, and I just changed the name and kept on going, and that's been over 30 years now.
Oh, wow.
So we dropped the mobile accounting here a few years ago, and it's all just payroll now.
Okay, very cool. So you said you were a serviceman. So what branch did you serve in?
United States Marine Corps.
Well, thank you so much for your service. That's awesome. So you went from there, did the corporate thing, kind of got your feet wet, and you're like, I'm ready to do my own thing now.
Exactly.
No, that's definitely the entrepreneurial spirit, and I love that. I love hearing that. Now,
Very
you
much so.
were sharing with me a little bit earlier that you've written this book, and it's you call it like your business card now. It's called the Payroll Book.
The Payroll Book, a guide for small business and entrepreneurs.
Okay.
It's basically everything the small businessman or the entrepreneur needs to know about payroll. It's 30 years of experience distilled down to about 90,000 words.
30 years to 90,000 words. That's a lot of condensing, I would imagine.
It really is. I mean, I could talk about payroll for days. Trying to condense it down into 90,000 words was tough, let me tell you.
I could imagine so. I've not yet kind of walked into the book writing scene per se, but I've thought a lot about it. And I'm like, for me, I'm always like, man, I need to write more. And you're over here going, man, I need to like condense it down. So hats off to you for that, because I always have trouble thinking of things to say. Oddly.
Well, I want to give them what they need,
Right.
but not things they don't need. I mean, it's like you go to a doctor, you need to understand what's going on.
Right.
But you don't need to understand the science behind the lab test that he ran. You just need to know how the results impact you.
Right.
So some of the nitty-gritty details of payroll and taxes and EFTPS and ACH and so on, you don't need. You need to know how it affects you and your clients and your employees. But how that file is created to send to the Fed and how it's sent and how it runs through and everything else is kind of what reagent does he use in that lab test? You don't care.
Right.
So.
Right. So being in payroll as long as you have been, have you done consulting with businesses that kind of got in over their head and didn't handle payroll appropriately?
All the time. I've been dealing with small businesses now for 30 years on the accounting and on payroll, on the payroll side, of course. And yeah, I get people that come in. I had a doctor come in not too long ago who'd got embezzled and they didn't, the taxes weren't paid and the IRS was seizing his retirement accounts and so on. Embezzlement in small businesses is more common than you think.
Wow.
And other businesses that misclassify employees, don't pay taxes, don't file taxes, don't do other things, pay under the table, so on and so forth. All these illegal things,
right.
or not understanding that I have to do this and I have to do that,
right.
And why do I have to register for the state? And why am I paying unemployment insurance? And, the classic one, of course, is the employee looks at his check and says, who's this FICA and why do you get all this money out of my paycheck?
Right. We do pay a lot of taxes, especially as small business owners. So
Yes.
No, for sure. I remember when I first started working and I got my first pay stub and I'm like, wait a minute. They weren't over here working. I was over here working. The government wasn't, but anyway.
Believe me, that comes up all the time.
Right. So now, so you got this business started. You've been running it for quite a while. So is your base of operation here locally in North Dallas and Texas, DFW somewhere?
Our office is in Lewisville.
Okay.
We built the building here about 20 years ago. It was a real estate thing where it was a landlord's market, and the lease covenants were just excessive. So we said, the hell with it, and we just built our own building. So
I love that.
You as a realtor, you understand sometimes it's a buyer's market and sometimes it's a seller's market.
No, I totally get that. Yeah, and commercial's a whole nother animal. I know some folks who work in that space, and
Sure.
it can be difficult and tricky to find space to begin with. Depending on where you're looking. So, man, sometimes it is just easier to either build it or to buy it and make it your own.
And it's paid for.
Yeah.
So I have this huge asset that I basically paid rent for 15 years, and now I own it.
Right.
I love it.
And then you get depreciation, and you get to take those additional tax benefits on it. Yeah, I love owning real estate. Yeah, for that. Definitely.
Yes.
So. Okay, so in Lewisville, you've been going for a number of years. So are y'all Texas based? Are y'all nationwide? Like, where do y'all exist right now with your business?
We moved into the internet in the late 90s, and so we're in, I think, 47 states currently.
Awesome.
We don't operate. I don't think we have a client in Maine. We don't have anybody currently in Alaska, and I think Montana. Other than that, we've got clients in every state. We have a lot in Texas, of course, but we have New York. We have all the others. We operate in all of them and can operate in the 3 we don't operate in.
Right. Well, that's
so if you're in Wyoming or Montana and you need payroll, give me a call, please.
Hey, 47 states can't be wrong. So
no.
If you're not using them, it sounds like y'all need to give them a call, because you don't want the tax man knocking on your door.
And see, that's our unique selling proposition.
Right.
I'm a CPA. I'm also a U.S. tax court practitioner.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So we're compliance experts.
Good.
A lot of the other companies that you deal with in payroll, if you got a tax problem, they tell you to talk to your CPA.
Right.
Well, if your CPA really understood payroll, he'd be doing it for you.
Right.
So you're paying him to learn what he has to do to try and fix the problem. Right. We're experts at it. We do it all the time. I served the last 3 years on the IRS Advisory Council.
Okay.
And I know the commissioner and all the commissioners of the various operating entities and their deputies and lots of people in D.C. And so I'm able to get things done that a lot of our competitors can't. We're basically insurance for payroll. You have insurance for your house, you have insurance for your car, for your life.
Right.
Well, we provide at no additional cost insurance for your payroll. We guarantee that it'll work, that you're not going to get hit with penalties and interest from IRS mistakes and problems. Okay. We just guarantee it. If necessary, we go to tax court. We haven't lost a tax court case yet.
Good. So, cheers to that.
Absolutely.
When you were in Washington and rubbing elbows, were you able to convince them to not tax us as much and give us a break?
No.
I'll volunteer list. Maybe next time you can talk them into that.
We talked about it, but they said that was a congressional problem.
Blame it on somebody else. Sounds like a political thing to me.
Sounds like a political thing to me too.
Right. Well, that's all very exciting. I'm glad to hear that you've got those additional credentials and those additional offerings that you offer your clients. I think that that's so necessary when you're dealing with payroll and taxes, to have somebody who really understands that and it has that inside deep dive that you have. So that's brilliant. And that's really great.
Exactly.
I love it. So it's not fly by night. Let me do your taxes in my mom's basement kind of stuff. It's like legit, professional people that know what they're doing. That's the best. That's definitely the best.
And if I'm a CPA, so if you're interested in cheating on your payroll taxes or your taxes, don't talk to me. I'm not interested. We're gonna dance down the line. We're gonna minimize your taxes wherever possible, but we're not gonna put you or us in trouble with the law. That's just not worth it. It's a fool's game. So.
Right. Definitely. I definitely understand you there. Well, awesome. So, Charles, let me ask you the bonus question, if I may. Are you ready?
Sure.
I promise it's a good one. So, tell me, for pets, which one you preferred? Are you more of a dog person, more of a cat person, or do you like fish or aardvarks? I don't know, llamas. You tell me.
I'm a dog person.
A dog person. Okay.
Yeah. So I like dogs. I like bigger dogs.
Okay.
My favorite pet of all times was Crystal. She was a white, long-haired German Shepherd.
Oh wow!
Just beautiful, great, even temper. She'd be out on the lawn. The kids would be picking on her and playing with her. She'd get tired of it. She'd stand up, walk away 10 feet, lay down, and they'd come over and start on her again. And she didn't seem to care. But she was a great dog.
Oh, that's cute. We have 2 Shih Tzus, but you know that because before we started, I was rushing them out of the room because they would have been all over me.
Yes.
They like to sit on my lap, which is great, but not during an interview because it's very distracting.
My daughter has one.
Oh, okay, so. Yeah. They're cute little. They're little though. They're like, I think the biggest one is like 14 pounds or something.
Yeah.
And they're like this big,
Yeah, I like bigger dogs, so it's just me.
Bigger dogs are great too. Absolutely. Well, let's talk about how people can get in touch with you, and I'll circle back around to this as I mentioned earlier. So you can email Charles at cjr@getpayroll.com. You can also reach him on his office number here. It's 972-353-0000. I like that.
It's the only good thing GTE ever did for me.
There you go. It's an easy number to remember. I love it. So as we wrap it up today, do you have any words of wisdom you'd like to share with our audience?
Well, one of my favorite quotes is, there is never a traffic jam on the extra mile. We go the extra mile for our clients whenever possible, right? Because we feel that's what we should do. Sure. And it's amazing to them because we do it, and we don't do it without nickel and diming them and without making a big deal out of it. We just do it. Right. And that gets me into trouble because when I am out there dealing with other people other than clients, and they don't do the same thing, it annoys me to no end. Right. So if you've got somebody that go the extra mile, treasure them because they're worth it.
Oh, I agree 100%. And that comes down to good customer service. I mean, if you got somebody who's just willing to be on the phone an extra minute and just, okay, we're good now, like that makes such a big difference to me. And I know I patron places that I get the best customer service from, and yes. The places I don't, I just usually don't hang around for very long. So,
and don't go back. Exactly.
Yeah. No, for sure. No, I love that quote. That's an amazing quote. And I agree with that quote. That's remarkable. Well, I appreciate your time so much, Charles, for being on. And again, I've got his number and his email on the screen. So reach out to him, especially if you're in one of those 3 states and you're not using payroll services. Obviously, he knows what he's talking about. And he's very much a professional, and he's a lovely guy to talk to. So, hey, can't go wrong.
Heather, thank you.
Appreciate you being on. You have an amazing day, and I'll talk with you soon.
Look forward to it. You too.